Welcome to Golden Garden Wisdom. I'm John, and today I'm going to share a strategy that completely revolutionized my approach to gardening. While most people are packing away their trowels and calling it quits until spring, the smartest gardeners are actually out there right now, sowing seeds that will result in spectacular displays when the warmer weather returns. Stick around, because the tips I'm sharing today will save you months of hard work and deliver results that will have your neighbors wondering what your secret is. Before we dig in, please do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our top gardening tips. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single episode of Golden Garden Wisdom, as we are dedicated to making gardening simpler and more rewarding for everyone. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with your gardening friends. Now, let's uncover these incredible winter planting secrets. Planting in December might sound backward to a beginner, but experienced hands know this is pure garden gold. When you put seeds into the cold ground right now, you are working with nature rather than against it. The frozen soil and winter moisture trigger a magical process known as cold stratification. Essentially, this wakes up those dormant seeds so they can explode with growth as soon as temperatures rise. Plants started this way develop deeper roots and stronger stems, and they bloom weeks earlier than anything you would plant in the spring. It is nature's way of giving you a massive head start. And the best part? You barely have to lift a finger. Just get those seeds in the ground and let the season work its magic. The specific varieties I'm sharing today aren't your typical garden center recommendations. These are tough, reliable performers that actually prefer the cold treatment. By getting them established during winter's dormancy, you are setting yourself up for effortless color and a garden that comes alive while everyone else is still shopping for bedding plants. Let's walk through each one so you know exactly what to plant and why these specific choices are absolute winners for winter sowing. Perennial seed none 1, Pasque Flower. First on our list is the Pasque Flower, and this one is truly special. Its silky, bell-shaped blossoms ranging from lavender to deep purple start opening in late winter or very early spring, often pushing right through the last bits of snow. What makes this such a smart choice for winter planting is that it genuinely needs that cold period to perform its best. The seeds require chilling to break their natural dormancy, which means planting in December isn't just acceptable, it's actually ideal. This compact beauty stays small, typically reaching only 6 to 12 inches in height. This makes it perfect for the front of borders or rock gardens where you want early season interest. The foliage deserves attention too. It is finely cut and slightly fuzzy, adding textural interest throughout the growing season. Unlike aggressive spreaders, the Pasque Flower stays exactly where you place it, forming neat little clumps that never need dividing or controlling. Growing this plant is remarkably simple once you understand its basic needs. It craves full sunshine and soil that drains quickly, whether that is gravelly, sandy, or amended with plenty of grit. Heavy clay or waterlogged winter conditions will cause problems, so if your soil holds water, add some coarse sand or plant on a slight slope. Once those roots are down, you can basically forget about it. The plant becomes exceptionally drought-resistant, handles pests without issue, and lives for many years without requiring replacement. Here is something else that makes the Pasque Flower extra valuable. After those early blooms fade, the plant produces incredible fluffy seed heads that look like little silvery puffs. They extend the visual interest for weeks beyond the flowering period, giving you 2 seasons of beauty from a single plant. You rarely find that kind of extended performance in early spring perennials. For placement, think about those tricky sunny spots where the soil stays relatively dry, places where other perennials might struggle. Rock gardens are ideal, as are gravel beds, raised areas, or anywhere you need tough, reliable color in challenging conditions. Combine Pasque Flower with other lean soil lovers, and you will create a beautiful early display that requires almost zero maintenance. If you are looking for maximum impact with minimum fuss, this is your plant. Perennial seed 2, Wild Bergamot. By the way, if you are enjoying these tips from Golden Garden Wisdom, take a second to comment below and tell me which of these perennials you are most excited to try. We love hearing from fellow gardeners, and your comments help other viewers find this content too. Moving right along, let's talk about Perennial Seed 2, Wild Bergamot. This is a powerhouse perennial that combines toughness with serious pollinator appeal. Those clustered flowers in soft lavender pink create an airy, almost windswept look that brings natural movement to any border. What is happening beneath the surface during these cold months is even better. The plant is establishing a substantial root system that translates to vigorous, healthy growth once the spring warmth arrives. Wild bergamot needs cold stratification to germinate reliably, making winter sowing the smartest approach. You are essentially letting nature handle the complicated part while you sit back and wait for the results. The plant reaches a respectable 2 to 4 feet in height, providing vertical interest without becoming overwhelming. Its upright growth habit and aromatic foliage keep it from feeling dense or heavy, allowing it to blend beautifully with ornamental grasses and other airy companions. Once established, this plant's care requirements drop to nearly nothing. Full sun and well-drained soil are the main necessities, along with decent air circulation to keep the foliage healthy. After surviving its first winter and emerging in spring, wild bergamot becomes surprisingly tolerant of dry conditions. You will only need to water it during extended drought, otherwise it takes care of itself. Cutting back the spent flowers helps maintain a tidy appearance and can sometimes encourage a lighter second flush of blooms later in the season. The real magic happens when pollinators discover your wild bergamot. Bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds absolutely flock to these flowers, creating constant activity and life throughout the blooming period. If you are trying to support beneficial insects or just enjoy watching wildlife, this plant delivers in spades. The aromatic foliage also adds another sensory dimension. Brush against it and you will release a pleasant herbal fragrance. Design-wise, wild bergamot shines in prairie-style plantings, naturalistic borders, and anywhere you want that loose meadow-like feel. Pair it with coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, or native grasses for a layered look that feels both intentional and effortlessly wild. The combination of height, color, movement, and ecological value makes this an exceptional choice for winter sowing. Perennial Seed Tundra 3, Bachelor's Button. Perennial Seed Tundra 3 is the Bachelor's Button. Let's talk about this one because this tough little perennial seriously outperforms expectations. Its fringed, intensely blue flowers are among the very first to appear in spring borders, providing vibrant color long before most other perennials have even broken dormancy. Planting in winter gives the roots plenty of time to establish in cool soil. This translates directly into stronger stems, larger blooms, and noticeably fuller plants by the growing season. This plant actually thrives in lean, well-drained conditions and welcomes the winter chill. The cold stimulates better growth rather than hindering it, which is why December planting makes perfect sense. Bachelor's Button typically reaches 12 to 18 inches tall, compact enough for smaller gardens while still making a real visual impact. The silvery green foliage looks attractive even before flowering begins, and the plant never becomes invasive or unruly. Care requirements border on non-existent. Plant them in full sun and avoid overly rich soil, which can actually lead to weak, floppy growth. You might need to provide occasional watering if the winter stays unusually dry, but once the roots are down, the plant becomes remarkably drought-tolerant and pest-resistant. Deadheading spent blooms encourages additional flowering, extending your color display with minimal effort. Year after year, this perennial just keeps delivering without demanding anything in return. Bachelor's Button works beautifully at the front of borders, along pathways, or in cottage-style plantings where its loose, natural texture feels completely at home. The electric blue flowers create stunning combinations with soft yellows, whites, and purples from other cool-season bloomers. Try pairing it with prairie smoke or blue flax for an early spring palette that looks professionally designed but requires almost no maintenance. Don't forget to subscribe to Golden Garden Wisdom if you haven't already. We have tons more practical tips coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Hit that like button too, if this information is helping you plan a better garden. Perennial Seed 4, Columbine. Perennial Seed 4 is columbine. Columbine deserves serious attention from winter sowers because it absolutely thrives when planted during the cold months. Those nodding lantern-shaped flowers with their delicate spurs look almost too elegant for such a tough plant. The blooms appear in early to mid-spring, bringing graceful movement and cheerful color just when gardens need it most. Seeds planted now benefit from natural cold stratification, allowing them to germinate more reliably and emerge stronger when temperatures begin rising. This perennial handles cool climates exceptionally well and grows steadily once the soil starts warming in spring. Most varieties stay between 1 and 2 feet tall, providing nice height variation without overwhelming your planting areas. The foliage deserves a mention too. Finely divided and layered, it maintains an attractive appearance even after flowering finishes. Unlike aggressive spreaders, columbine stays light and non-invasive, weaving softly among companion plants without competing for space. Growing columbine successfully requires surprisingly little effort. Give it partial sun, though it tolerates full sun in cooler climates, and well-drained soil, then let winter moisture handle the initial watering needs. Once established, the plant becomes quite drought-tolerant and resists pest damage remarkably well. Light deadheading encourages repeat blooming, but even without this attention, the foliage continues adding texture through early summer. In landscape settings, columbine excels in woodland edges, cottage borders, pollinator gardens, and mixed spring displays. The elegant blooms combine beautifully with blue flax, wild bergamot, and prairie smoke, creating soft, romantic color schemes that move gently with every breeze. Whether you plant it as scattered wildflower accents or repeat it rhythmically through borders, columbine delivers charm and natural grace without requiring constant attention. Perennial Seed 5, Lupine. Perennial Seed 5 is lupine. Lupine stands out as one of winter's most rewarding sowing projects, especially if you love bold vertical elements and spectacular spring color. Those dramatic flower spikes rise in shades of purple, pink, blue, and white, creating shows that few cold-hardy perennials can match. Winter sowing provides the natural chilling period lupine seeds need, helping them germinate more reliably and bloom more abundantly once the weather warms. This plant establishes beautifully during the colder months, staying neatly upright and typically reaching 2 to 3 feet in height. Even before flowers appear, the distinctive palmate foliage forms elegant mounds that add structural interest to beds and borders. That tidy growth habit makes lupine perfect for cottage gardens, mixed borders, and anywhere you want impressive spring height without bulk or mess. Care requirements are straightforward once you understand the basics. Lupine wants full sun to light shade and must have well-drained soil. Sitting in waterlogged winter ground causes problems. Once roots are established, the plant becomes quite drought-tolerant and needs very little beyond occasional watering during extended dry periods. Removing spent flower spikes maintains a cleaner appearance and can sometimes prompt lighter reblooming later in the season. Lupine functions as an excellent vertical accent that brings both color and movement to early-season plantings. Combine it with ornamental grasses, columbine, or other cool-season perennials for layered, textured spring displays. Whether you're filling new borders or refreshing established areas, lupine delivers impressive height, undeniable charm, and bursts of color right when gardens need it most. Perennial seed 6 is prairie smoke. This plant earns its memorable name from its distinctive feathery seed heads that resemble pink-tinted plumes drifting through the garden. Even when planted in December, this resilient perennial settles in with confidence, ready to form its characteristic nodding blooms as soon as soil temperatures begin to rise. The combination of delicate flowers followed by those whimsical smoky seed heads makes this one of the most unique and underappreciated cold-tolerant perennials available. This plant genuinely thrives in cool climates with well-drained soil and plenty of sunshine, which makes early winter planting the ideal strategy. Prairie smoke stays refreshingly compact, usually growing to under a foot in height. It forms tight, neat clumps that never sprawl or look messy. The fern-like foliage adds soft, textural interest throughout the year, often taking on attractive hints of red and bronze during the colder months. Care couldn't be simpler. This plant prefers dry to moderately moist soil, handles winter wetness better than many other perennials, and becomes impressively drought-tolerant once established. A quick cleanup of old foliage in late winter keeps things looking fresh, but that is honestly all the maintenance it requires. Prairie smoke resists pest damage, actually prefers lean soil, and spreads slowly without ever becoming invasive, creating natural, low-maintenance drifts. For landscape use, prairie smoke excels in rock gardens, meadow-style borders, or sunny edges where those airy plumes can catch the light and the breeze. It pairs wonderfully with blue flax, pasque flower, and native grasses, creating relaxed, naturalistic plantings that feel effortlessly beautiful. Whether used as small accents or planted in clusters, prairie smoke adds movement, softness, and subtle color exactly when most gardens need it. Perennial seed 7, blue flax. Finally, we wrap up our list with perennial seed 7, blue flax. This is a cold-loving perennial that settles in beautifully when sown during the winter months. Those airy stems, topped with tissue-thin sky-blue flowers, are among spring's first arrivals, creating a soft, shimmering effect that dances in the slightest breeze. Because blue flax roots quickly in cool soil, winter planting provides a significant head start. This results in sturdier clumps, increased bloom production, and a graceful arching habit once the warmer days arrive. This plant thrives in winter conditions because it actually prefers the chill. It dislikes high humidity and performs best in lean, well-drained soil. Blue flax typically reaches 12 to 18 inches tall, forming loose feathery mounds that never overwhelm neighboring plants. Even when it isn't actively blooming, its slender blue-green foliage adds a delicate naturalistic texture that fits perfectly into prairie gardens, cottage borders, and low-maintenance landscape designs. Growing blue flax successfully requires wonderfully simple care. Provide full sun, avoid heavy or overly rich soil, and water just enough to settle the seeds during dry winter weeks. Once established, this perennial becomes drought-tolerant, pest-resistant, and incredibly dependable year after year. It rarely needs staking, pruning, or fussing. Just remove the spent stems after flowering to encourage a cleaner shape and occasional reblooming. In landscape applications, blue flax looks stunning planted in drifts, weaving through other cool-season perennials, or softening the edges of pathways and rock gardens. Its airy texture creates beautiful combinations with prairie smoke, lupine, and Bachelor's button, producing layered spring palettes that feel light, natural, and quietly elegant. Planting blue flax in early winter guarantees stronger, more floriferous displays that look effortless but feel undeniably special. Conclusion: there you have it, 7 simple, reliable perennials that genuinely love being sown during winter's chill. Give them a spot in the ground now and they will reward you with healthier growth and spectacular early color when spring arrives. This approach represents one of the easiest ways to achieve a fuller, more vibrant garden without any extra work later in the season. Just sow the seeds, let winter handle the hard part, and enjoy the remarkable results when everything wakes up. Before you head out to your garden, do me one last favor. Subscribe to Golden Garden Wisdom so you never John's practical tips and techniques. Drop a like on this video, leave a comment telling me which perennial you are most excited about, and share this with your gardening friends. Together we are building a community of gardeners who work smarter, not harder. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode where we will explore even more ways to create beautiful, low-maintenance gardens. Happy planting!